I've missed that song.
Yeah, I've been dancing in my head.
Right?
It's good to see you guys again.
Hi.
It's been a minute.
Hello. Yeah, it has.
It's been
a
long time. Hi, everybody.
Hello, and welcome to Gaming Source Network, your number one source for all things gaming, mainly Stadia and GeForce Now. But yeah, we've been away for a minute. We decided to come back and just see how everybody is, check in with the team, check in with all of the people that usually watch us. We've got some regular faces in the chat as well, so we'll get around to saying hi to you guys shortly. But yeah, it's a very special day today, and we thought we would basically just go live and see what happens and catch up. And so here we are.
Yeah.
And if anybody's wondering, that special day is Scarlet's birthday.
Woo!
Happy birthday to you.
You guys.
What was it again, Scarlet? 25 years old?
28, but yeah.
Well, yeah, close.
So funny story about 28 is that my husband was listening to some talk show on the radio, and they're like, did you guys know that the average age of your gamer these days is 28? And like the news hosts were like shocked by this. They're like, isn't that for like kids and stuff? It's like, okay. We grew up with gaming, so thank you. I'm officially the average age of a gamer now. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a bit past that now, but
yeah,
if you think about it, I mean, a lot of the franchises we grew up with like are still going strong, like your Pokemons, your Sonics, and like
Fantasies.
Mario is still going, isn't he?
Mario.
Like, why wouldn't we still be playing them? Do you know what I mean?
Can you class Halo in there? How long? Halo's been going for a while, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
20 years, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So yeah.
So yeah, we're going to talk about all sorts of different things today. It's basically just a free for all. We haven't really got too much of a script. We've got a few bullet points to talk about, but we're just going to let it flow naturally. Talk about things that are necessarily gaming and things outside of gaming, such as where we've been and what we've been doing and what we hope to be doing in the future. So before we jump into that, though, I just want to say hello to some of the folks in the chat. So we've got Ray3473, the gaming cyborg, saying happy birthday, Scarlet. It's good to see you again, Ray.
Best Jeopardy partner, or Wheel of Fortune partner, that's what it was.
We've got Eli Levi also wishing you a happy birthday. In lead, how you doing? Missing the good old round tables. I know we miss them too, so that's why we're here, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, we have missed being able to like be here and talk with you guys, but we kind of let speaking of Stadia, right? So yeah, speaking of Stadia, we kind of just let them take over a little bit because Stadia was the one who was really having most of the news. You guys didn't need to hear it every week and every other week. Wanted to let them have their time to shine, but also there just wasn't a whole lot going on necessarily in terms of Stadia and GFN other than your regular updates. So I think we all kind of took a much needed break, I suppose, from doing the live stuff to kind of focus on other things that were going on. Dan with your job, Lee with your fishing, and then, life. So, but we wanted to check in with y'all and let you know we're still here. We're still going strong, basically saying goodbye to 2021, saying hello to 2022. Don't want you guys thinking that we're going anywhere. We're here to stay. Even if it ends up, being we just morph GSN into another platform and we're you can't get rid of us.
Nope. We're not going down easy.
No, I mean, I've still been kind of going strong on the website front. Lee's been absolutely killing it with news, both for Stadia Source and GeForce Now Source. I to be fair, I got a new job which is taken up quite a lot of my energy. I find myself coming home in the evenings and just thinking, oh, I can't be bothered to go on the computer. But I knew that would kind of only be a temporary thing until I kind of got the swing of things again and got into a routine. And I'm slowly bouncing back. So that's kind of where I've been at. I don't know what everybody else has kind of been doing since then.
Lee, what have you been up to
in your personal life?
Yeah, personal wise, yeah, and to be honest, not much. To be honest, it's COVID, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
it's just working away, family life, and and other than that, just as Dan said, ticking away, still putting the news in at Stadia Source and GFN Source, and just keep pushing it and keep doing what we do, really.
Yep.
Yeah. So what did you all do for Christmas, and what have you got planned for New Year's?
We visited my husband's sister and her family. They actually only live about 40 minutes from us now, so that's really fun. So we visited them a couple of days before Christmas to just kind of hang out. And then my parents came over Christmas morning to open gifts with the kids. And yeah, that was basically it. We don't really go like crazy about it. Just it's Christmas. We celebrate Christ and we call it good.
Lee, the same for you?
Yeah, we just had my mother and father-in-law came on Christmas. They came up Christmas Eve to ours. Same my brother-in-law and his wife, which is weird because we all did like lateral flow tests beforehand, and it's just a weird thing to do before Christmas, but what you got to do. And so we just they spent Christmas Day at ours, and then that was it. And then Boxing Day we just chilled out. I've not done much since Boxing, since Christmas Day, to be honest. I think
it's that weird period between.
Yeah, I think I spent about Boxing Day and the day after, possibly 28th as well, just in my pajamas for about 3 days. Pretty much.
I'm wearing pajama bottoms at the moment, so I put a t-shirt on to make it look like I've done something today. But
my wife got me this. You'll know what they are, Dan. A snood, like the big fluffy one for Christmas, and I did. I lived in it for about 3 days. It was so comfy. I didn't want to take it off. It's amazing.
So my Christmas has kind of been. I'm going to lower the spirit here a little bit. My Christmas has been sad because on Christmas Eve, my partner tested positive for COVID, and then on the 27th, so did I. So we've literally just been isolating at home. We haven't been able to go to any parties or anybody's, dinners or anything like that, or buffets. And it probably looks like we're not really going to be able to for New Year's as well. But on the flip side, I think I had one day where I kind of felt a little bit under the weather, like lack of energy. But then all of a sudden it just did a complete 180 and I've had like bursts of energy. And I've actually been feeling better than I probably normally would before I had COVID. So it's weird. It's like it's given me some sort of like superpower to actually get off the sofa and do something. I've actually done like programming which I've been putting off for days and weeks. I finally did it over the last 2 days just because I've had that burst of energy. So
so
weird.
Speaking of the website, Dan, what have you been doing to the website that you haven't told anybody about?
To be fair, a lot of it is
to be honest, I'm interested here as well because I don't think you've told me what you've been up to.
You haven't told anybody.
It's
the management crew doesn't even know what the management does.
To be fair, it's more behind the scenes. I decided on a whim to buy a book on Python, and I thought, maybe I could use that to kind of automate some of the tasks that I do for the website. Like, for example, every time Stadia has a sale and I add the sales to the website, it takes me like 2 hours to get every single game into the website, every single price in pounds, dollars, euros, and Canadian dollars, and all sorts. And it's like I can't keep taking 2 hours to do it, so I'm just going to
You ever
write a Python
notice, Dan,
script to do it.
that when there's a Stadia sale, I don't do anything.
Yeah, because you
just leave it. I just leave it for you.
But yeah, so there's still a bit of work involved. I've still got to like do some things to get it working, but at least it's gonna make my life a lot easier in that respect. So yeah, you probably won't see a lot of things on the surface of the website. I'm hoping to kind of pick that back up in the new year. But I guess you could argue that I think someone mentioned it earlier in lead. What have we been playing on Stadia or otherwise? So I guess that's probably part of the reason as well. Is I mean, you can't just work on the website all day. Sometimes you have to actually kick back and have fun and play some games. So I'll start with me, seeing as I'm already talking. But I've really been enjoying 2 games in particular, and one of them is more of a classic game in Rayman Legends. Well, that's the one that came out in Stadia or Origins. I can't remember which one it was, but it's just one of those. I mean, it's kind of a platform Sonic-esque game, I guess. I grew up with Rayman, so I just enjoy the challenge of it, and it's one step closer to getting Sonic on Stadia, I guess. But then the other game is kind of took me by surprise because I didn't think I would like it. The only thing that made me think I might is because I was a big fan of SSX Tricky, the snowboarding game. But that's Riders Republic. And I just love like how you can just get lost. I mean, it's a massive map, a massive environment, and you can literally be snowboarding down a hill 1 second and then in midair switch to a bike and then be biking down a mountain and all of a sudden flying off in a rocket ship thing on your back. And yeah, it's just dead fun. I haven't really played any other games other than that on Stadia. I mean, I've been waiting for, as you've probably seen on Twitter, Fibbage to finally make its way to Stadia because they keep releasing the Jackbox party packs, but not the ones that have got Fibbage in it. And that's all I want. And maybe Drawful as well because it's kind of Fibbage but with pictures. But and obviously Streets of Rage 4 as well because why not?
Yeah. That was a good game, though, isn't it? Streets Rage. I like that one.
So what have you been playing, guys?
Lee?
What have I been playing? I finished Wavetale on Stadia, which is a great game. Which, if you have not played it, I highly recommend it because it's not long. It only takes about 3 to 4 hours, but it's nice. It's chilled. It looks really good. It's just a good game to play. I've dived into The Witcher 2 on GeForce now, which has sucked me right back in again. I first played it, it was 10 years ago when it came out on Xbox 360. But the good thing is, because I played it so long ago, I can't remember too much about it. So that's been really good. Other than that, I keep dipping in and out of Outriders. I picked up Outriders on sale. And I keep dipping in and out of that every so often. I do a couple of missions and then I'll leave it for a week or so and come back to it. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I'm playing at the moment.
I had to refund Outriders just because of the way that they were kind of treating the game's updates.
Yeah. Well, what I've done is I picked it up on Stadia. It came on sale on Stadia, but I also picked it up on Steam. So I've got it on GeForce now as well.
Yeah.
So I'm playing 2 different classes on each one.
My dad's trying to twist my arm into playing it, but we'll see.
It is much better on Stadia now. They have really, since the last update, it's really improved to what it was when it first launched. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see with that one if they continue to support it on time with other platforms, or if a Stadia version will slip again like it has done. Yeah. So that'll be worth keeping an eye on.
Scarlet, you've had quite a lot of happy birthdays in the chat, so
yeah, and Link in there. Thank you, Link, for being here, and thanks for the $30.
Oh,
thank you, Link.
Thank you, Link.
Thank you very much. Hope you've had a good Christmas.
Yeah, Link's been having a lot of fun finishing up Phoenix. I think he finished the main game. and what you're now on. You either just finished New God DLC, so I think you're moving on to the second DLC. I can't remember. What have I been playing? I have been playing a bit of Blue Fire on Stadia. Finally getting around to that since I've had the code for, I don't know, like a year now, probably. It's hard. There's some like intense stuff, and like it's not one of those platformers where you just start over like from like the place that you were, unlike Celeste, where at least you just restart on the same screen. But you get sent back like way far and like, it's constant. And then those little dungeons, you have to start over from the very beginning on every little dungeon, and it drives me nuts. So I've been playing a bit of that with frustration. I'm finally also a member of the 2-controller club. I picked up a Premier Edition when I got Jackbox. So yay, I have a white controller finally. I also recently was able to get Ratchet and Clank, so that was a lot of fun. I was finally able to play Rift Apart, which I love the Ratchet and Clank games. I mostly played the crap out of Up Your Arsenal. It was really fun, and so I was really happy to be able to play.
I like that title.
Yeah, when you said that just now, I thought, wait, hold on, what did she just say?
Grow up. So Rift Apart was tons of fun. And I got pretty much everything on the first playthrough, and I'll be doing a second playthrough at the challenge, or like it's like challenge mode or whatever, but I'll still be playing it on story mode because team story mode, 100%. So that was a lot of fun. That was about 16 hours of playing. I was able to live stream that, which was great.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them.
Yeah, and I'm working on finishing up Mass Effect. So it's been a month since I started number 3, so I decided to just restart. I'd put about, I don't know, 6 or 8 hours into it, so it wasn't like terrible to restart. Plus I actually decided this time to go in as a space maid instead of just a soldier, so that'll be different. So I've been playing that. I'm slacking on my Pokemon Cafe, which is a little bit sad. My 3-year-old has been enjoying the heck out of Mario Run, and she's actually really good at it now. And then my oldest is playing, finishing up Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening. So we've been having some stuff going on. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a wait for the next games that we want. Oh, Jason played Halo Infinite as well. But it's not 2-player, so I didn't play it, which was a little bit sad.
Co-op isn't coming for a little while yet.
Yeah, I was really bummed. Because like we played through the first games in 2-player.
Yeah,
they were the ones that you could. Link never sleeps. No awakening for him. And thank you, Dominic, for the happy birthdays. Thank you, everybody who's been wishing me a happy birthday. I really appreciate it, guys. Yeah, so that's been our gaming world. And you know me, I've just been working, getting those displays done. I was almost caught up. I had like only 40 left to make. And then I opened up for another 50 orders. So now I have like 85 left to make. So that's fine though. It'll be fine.
So I was going to say, you got Link's Awakening. I got Link's Africa for Christmas. So
what?
That's the one thing.
It's probably called Axe where you are. the deodorant. That was a really, really poor joke, and I'm going to go back in my shell now.
I never got any links for Christmas this year from nobody.
Well, that's it. You're going to smell for the rest of the year now, because that's the only time you ever get links, isn't it?
I used to have a running joke with my wife at this time of year. I don't know. You've probably seen it, Dan. You get the ladies one, the pink and white, and I always used to get her that gift pack for one of her Christmas presents.
Payback.
I think it was. I can't remember. It was last year or the year before. She basically told me if I did it again, we were going to get divorced. So I thought, right, I better ease off. She never like used to use them, but I still used to buy it for her every Christmas just as a running little thing. But I've not done it in a couple of years now.
So I actually.
Are you guys talking about deodorant?
Yeah, Axe body spray. You said it's called Link's over here, and you said you were playing Link's Awakening, so I said I got Link's Africa, which is that's why I
that
said
had
it was
to
a terrible
boomerang
joke.
around like 10 times before I understood what the heck you were talking about. You're like, yeah, the pink stuff, and I'm like, what are you people talking about?
We actually lost viewers because of that joke. So
Americans all alone over here. Thank you.
No.
All right. Well, why don't we talk about Stadia stuff? What do we got going on over there? Stadia's had an interesting year, still around. So there's that.
Take that, naysayers.
Haha.
I think I saw a tweet the other day that Stadia's now been alive longer than Ouya was.
It has been, yes.
That's a milestone.
Yeah.
We've reached that's one myth that we can brush away.
There you go.
Can I just say the 12 days of Stadia, like the song, the lyrics that someone made for it was genius, even if it was a bit tongue in cheek. And yeah, we all know kind of some of the people's feelings about the 12 days of Stadia, but the fact that they made that kind of like 12 days of Christmas song out of it was hilarious.
I'll have to go find it.
Just the first one, because obviously the first one was Destiny 2, which we already had anyway and have had since day one. It was just the way they'd made it like, and a free game that was already free or something like that.
was it not? He was in the chat, isn't he?
In lead,
yeah. Was it? He
Yeah.
did it, wasn't he, on his Twitter? That was really cool.
I saw multiple
A big
versions,
shout out to
but I think
InLead
that was
actually,
the
because he
best
does some. He's been doing some nice graphics on his Twitter feed actually about Stadia and different stats and things like that. So he's been doing some good work there.
Is it in lead or in lead?
Yeah, that's what I say. I was wanting to say his name, but I
it's
don't know if it's in lead or
InLead.
in lead.
I think it's in lead.
I'm sure he'll let us know if he's in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Spell it out for us.
there we go.
So there's obviously been like a couple of letdowns, minor and major, but then there's also been a decent amount of good. Why don't we start with the bad news and on the good news? So what's happened here? We had a pretty major thing. We had SG&E was closed up. So that was Stadia Games and Entertainment, which was supposed to be their in-house game productions team. So I don't necessarily care one way or the other that this happened, because nobody's really invested in what games can Google make. They're invested in, will Stadia have the games that I play? And so far it's had a decent amount of the games that people play.
I think you kind of mentioned it earlier in the fact that I mean, a lot of the games that we play, like you said, Halos and your Sonics and your Marios and stuff like that, I mean, they're all tried and tested. They've been around for ages. For SG&E to just create lightning in a bottle just because they were formed to potentially do so doesn't mean they're necessarily going to. And I know this topic has been done to death. I know everybody was like, this is going to be the end of Stadia, blah, blah, blah. And it's still hilarious to me to this day to see that the wider gaming community, when it comes to like journalism and stuff, can't mention the closure. They can't not mention the closure of SG&E every time they write a Stadia article.
Constantly a byline.
It's in every article, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just filler at this point. It's just, what can we put in to make our article a paragraph longer? I know, let's mention the fact that SG&E closed, and that's all it is to me. If anything, I've not seen any slowdown in momentum. We've still got the whole communication aspect. I know that they ramped down the weekly Stadia blogs, the community blogs, and they still have, every now and then, they still have mess ups when it comes to communications. The fact that I don't want to cover one of the future points we was going to be talking about, but the whole Game Awards thing, the fact that we had representatives from Stadia attend the awards, but yet there was nothing from Stadia at the awards, and like, how could you possibly sit in the audience knowing that you work for a company that should be there, featured in some kind of respect. But we're still getting games come out. We're still seeing like big games come out as well. I mean, we've obviously had like your Rainbow Six Siege and Riders Republic coming out recently. I know a lot of them are Ubisoft games, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I
Thanks,
would
Jin.
have loved to have seen what they would have done, what they would kind of games they would have made, because it would have been really good to see this cloud native exclusive game push it to the max. But
so I mean, like, yes and no though, because we don't know if these games were even going to be like, oh, thanks, Michael. If like this was even going to be anything like good, it could have just been as simple I say as simple, but
yeah,
as simple as something like Orcs Must Die, but with
I
thousands
think,
of more people. So
as
it's
you
really
say,
just another tower defense game.
Very much that if any of those studios had this big AAA game that was, huge open world or whatever, Google will never would. I don't think they would have cancelled it, because I think, in all honesty, I think the games they were making on were probably not. By the point they got to, Google probably thought, this is not worth it. They probably looked at these games and thought, nah, it's not gonna happen. So they pulled the plug on it there and then and said, nope, we're just gonna move on. And leave. But for me, it's a catch-22. I can see why maybe Google said no, we don't want to invest the money into it all. At the same time, exclusives on Stadia could have helped bring more people into Stadia. But
I mean, maybe just for the people who like the idea of exclusive games, but like Nintendo doesn't only need exclusive games to be one of the best companies ever. PlayStation, like, granted, these are also bigger companies, they've had longer time to establish themselves, but they don't exist solely for their exclusive games.
No.
Like,
I think, to be fair, the way that I've always pictured this, and you're going to have to bear with me a second because I know they're two different things, but did anybody remember when the Kinect for Xbox first came out?
Mm-hmm.
Vaguely, yeah.
I mean, they tried to push it with the Xbox One by including it with the console, but like, in my opinion, nothing really ever came of the Kinect. I think the Kinect gets used more for like science and math and stuff in the wider world now than it does for actual gaming. So the way that I've always thought SG&E would have worked is that they would have produced a game that was, it was only possible on cloud, but would it be any good? Probably not. It was just be a niche game. And you look at all the Kinect games you had, like Kinect Sports and Kinect Playground and this, that, and the other, and they were fun, but you played them once, you played them with your family, and then you put them down and carried on playing Halo or something, or Call of Duty, because
or Wii Sports, which is infinitely better.
So to me, that's the way I always saw them going. But that being said, I think if ever they were going to bring SG&E back, it would be probably in the future when cloud gaming is a bit more established, because let's not forget there's still people that are apprehensive or non-believers when it comes to cloud gaming. So, and there's obviously not as the uptake of cloud gaming has not been as quick as probably what some people would have predicted or expected. So why not just put it on the shelf for the time being and then maybe bring it out later when the time comes and there's more demand for it?
That's why I say to people, I see a lot people like sort of not hating on xCloud, but they give xCloud, certain people give it a rough time. But as I say to people, you should back xCloud and you should want xCloud to succeed, because if there's anybody who's going to get people on board with cloud gaming, it's going to be Xbox and xCloud. They're going to be the ones to do it. They are going to come out. I think they've already got a division working on cloud native games for xCloud. And they're going to be the ones that are going to turn heads. I mean, GeForce now, possibly if more people buy into the new tier, but xCloud are going to be. You can already see like the queues that people have got trying to access it. It's they're doing a lot of good work here. Yes, they need to work on a few things, but they're going to be the ones that make people really stand up and say cloud gaming's here and it's for real.
Maybe what really happened is that they didn't like being called Stadia Games and Entertainment. They wanted to call it Stadia Studio. So they're like, okay, we just got to shove it all aside and we'll come back as Stadia Studio. That's the true reason.
I can agree. I can agree with that. They probably went to Jade Raven and said, Jade, we need to change the name. What do you think? And she was like, no, I don't like that. You're gone. Get out.
There you go. Well, speaking of GFN's new tier, though, this has been gaining a lot of interest. Their 3080 tier. I don't know a whole lot about GFN, unfortunately. I just make the graphics. But tell me about this. Like, how has this been going? I've seen tons of articles from like all sorts of different places. Like, what is it and how is it better?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way I can describe it, and some people don't believe me when I say this, but the GFN, the 3080 tier, is the closest thing I've played on a cloud gaming platform service to the ones I've used that feels like a home console. It's like there's like the sprinkled magic on it. There's the latencies. It's not there. You sit and you play and it starts as though you're just sitting playing on an Xbox or a PS5 or. The games look amazing. It runs amazing. Yeah, you could say it's price point. It could be an issue. It's not the cheapest one.
Which is how much?
I think, what is it, £80 for 6 months, somewhere around there. I want to say off the top of my head, but yeah, 70, 80 quid for 6 months. About $100 for you guys, I think. But it's amazing. It really is. I mean, I one of the hopes they maybe bring out a monthly sub for it as opposed to a 6 monthly sub, or even a 3 monthly would be good. But it's amazing. It really is amazing.
I wonder if maybe that price point though isn't.
I would think that would probably put people off. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, but
I wonder if it isn't kind of like, this is almost a stopgap for people who can't get a 3080 right now or any of the new 30s. So it's just kind of like, we recognize that this is a lot, but that's also because we're providing you the service that you can't get yet. We're providing you with a 3080 essentially at rent, right?
You've got a lot in those blades in the 38. You've got 35 teraflops of power. That's 3 Xbox Series X consoles together. And I was very lucky enough. I sat in the media briefing with NVIDIA. I was invited to it, and the impression I got from them was they were more targeting Xbox and PlayStation, and they didn't even really mention other cloud service. They didn't speak about Stadia. They didn't mention xCloud. They didn't mention anything like that. They were going for the consoles with what they were trying to do with this, and it was very much they're not just doing it for this generation, they're future proofing for sort of the next generation, because they've built in these new super pods and there's a lot of power in there backing these up and the things they can do. I mean, I've seen firsthand what it can do. I get native 4K 60 frames per second on my NVIDIA Shield. It's brilliant. But yeah, I mean, price wise, yeah, I can see why it would put people. But there's a lot in there for the price as well. I mean, it couldn't have been cheap for NVIDIA to do this, what they've done. So, and fair play to them. They're rolling it out fairly quick as well. From when I sat down with them and spoke to them in that briefing, it was then like it was 2-3 weeks later it was coming out in the US, and then three weeks after that it was coming out in the UK, and it's been a good solid pace rollout for it.
See, I've to be fair, for saying that we run GeForce Now source, like I've only ever really had it running on the new Chromecast GFN, and it was respectable. Played Rocket League and stuff like that on it, but it's just, I don't know, there's just something about it that's, I think it just needs Sonic, and then I'll be sold.
Let's be honest. That's your answer to everything.
That's
This
my answer
coffee
to
needs
everything.
needs some Sonic in it.
I know. I'd probably be more interested in Luna if it was actually out in the UK because that's got Sonic on it. But
Then we'll finally get Lunasaurus going.
yeah, but yeah, I need to put more energy and resources into GFN Source. The website, although it was kind of just a copy and paste of Stadia Source, there's a few things that need updating on it.
It's you know it's been really good GFN Source because I'll be honest, when we started it started a bit slow, like in terms of the views and everything like that, but it's really picked up and we're really getting some good views in there now, and it's been good. It's been good. I appreciate the support everybody's been giving it, and yeah, we've been working hard on it, than what we do, and it's been good, really good.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now to see just quite how far behind it is, but I'll work on it. I'll get there. Don't you worry about it.
So, what else have we got going on here? We've got some general gaming things to chat about too.
I guess you could say what is your ultimate 2021 game of the year? What have you enjoyed playing?
Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
just every year.
My kids love Animal Crossing. They absolutely love that game.
It's tons of fun. I'm always sad when I have to like leave my villagers even for a week, and I'm like, I don't hate you, and they're like, why are you gone? I think, well, we haven't really played a whole lot of games. There was Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which was phenomenal.
I just bought that today.
I'm so pleased
Store.
That game won the awards that it did. 100% deserves it. Like, Lee, when you play this, take your time. Like, don't be rushing through this trying to get to the next goal. Like, take your time and just look around, because this game is gorgeous. And what's so cool is that this is the first game made by this animation studio. This isn't even like a gaming studio. They're like, hey, we're really good at making animations. They did like a Majora's Mask animation.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, we're gonna make a game. And they made a game. And this game won awards at the TGA. So props to these guys. I have to say, as much as I love Ratchet and Clank and I adore that whole thing, like, I think Kenna just surprised me so much with how awesome it was, and I'm like, I think Kenna is my game of the year for sure.
See, I didn't watch the Game Awards because it's on at like 1 o'clock in the morning here or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, it was a case of when I think I woke up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, scrolled through Twitter for about 10 seconds, saw that Stadia wasn't even mentioned, and neither was GeForce Now really. And then just went back to sleep and thought, yeah, that's that. So I didn't really see.
Well, actually, won Game of the Year at the Game Awards.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't even check because
I don't know what actually won. If anyone in the chat knows, let us know. Personally, what gave my game of my Guardians of the Galaxy? Amazing game. Again, I played that on. It was in GeForce Now from the Epic Store, and it was just amazing game. Great story, great characters. It captured the humor. To be honest, I actually found the humor a bit better in the game than the movies. I mean, the movies are excellent, the Guardians movies, but the game was superb. Just really, really good game. Or Forza Horizon 5. Oh, it's a tough one, actually.
Yeah, so It Takes Two won Game of the Year.
It Takes Two. Okay. I've not played that.
Kenna got what, best indie game or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot that unfortunately happened at TGA. Like, everybody was like, Nintendo, give us a Breath of the Wild 2, and Nintendo's like, nope, we didn't even win anything, so goodbye. It's like, dang it. There were a lot of interesting announcements though. So like, there was Star Wars Eclipse was announced at TGA, which for like half of the trailer, I wasn't even sure if it was a game or if it was like a TV show or something because it looked so good. And I actually talked on Secret Friends Unite a little bit about the controversy that's been going on behind that of the blackout Star Wars Eclipse. So there's that. But the game itself looks great. And there are tons of other trailers that came out as well. I think there was probably like a Senua's Sacrifice trailer or something. I don't know. There was like tons of things. But
Guess what?
Huh?
Sonic Frontiers.
Oh yeah, and Sonic.
Yeah, that does look
Sonic,
good, though, doesn't it?
Breath of the Wild. Which
There was your Breath of the Wild too.
I am for it though, Dan. I am totally for a revamp of the Sonic games from being, you know, your side-scrolling, whatever. Like, take more of these games and Breath of the Wild them. I will play it 100%. Like, I want it. Yeah. It looks pretty good though.
I just saw a link in the chat there mentioned Arc Raiders. Yes, Arc Raiders was a game that's announced and is coming to GeForce Now day one.
Yeah.
And that looks good. That does look a really good game.
So lots of fun stuff. Probably not enough of the stuff that people were actually hoping for Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. But things that also surprised people. Like, I don't think anybody had even heard of like Frontiers or Eclipse or any of that. It was just kind of like, here they are. And we're like, oh, what? So that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I think my favorite game for 2021, surprisingly, was Resident Evil 8, which is weird because I've gone on record many times to say that I'm not really much of a fan of Resident Evil post number 4. Well, no, post number 3 actually. I mean, 4 to me was the step in the wrong direction that they took, which took them away from the original story of like traditional zombies and things like that. But I actually decided to give this one a chance. I still haven't played number 7, mind, even though it was free for Pro one month.
Is that the one that Avery and I played? That you came
yeah,
in
that's the one you played with Avery, yeah. Which, to be fair, I probably should have played that one first, then number 8, because the story follows on. But meh, I will play it at some point. It's just I decided to give number 8 a chance, and I was pleasantly surprised. And I went back and got like, I must have completed it at least 4 or 5 times and got some of the infinite weapons and stuff, which just makes the next playthrough even easier. So, yeah, this is why I think I need to kind of just let go of my biases a little bit sometimes, and you know what I mean, just go with the flow a bit more.
See, the issue with me now is I can't do scary games anymore.
See, I was
when I was younger, I could play Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Silent Hill, no issues. Now I'm older, can't do it. I cannot do it.
I'm kind of the same way. Like, I played, not that Fallout is a scary game, but it is pretty gruesome. I played the crap out of Fallout 3 like over and over and over. And then I played Fallout 4 and I played through it once and then I tried to play it again. I was like, no, I'm just kind of not feeling it. And like anytime I look at anything now, I'm just kind of like, meh.
See, so, like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm good.
I was gonna say I was trying to get my partner to go and watch the Resident Evil movie with me in the cinema, but by the time I actually convinced her, it was actually gone from the cinema, so we're gonna wait until it comes out on Netflix or something. But no, I used to play Resident Evil, like the first Resident Evil on the PlayStation 1 when I was still in like infant school, which I guess you could question my parents.
Yeah, well, I was exactly the same. I played Resident Evil. Oh, how old was I? It was right about when it first came out on PlayStation because my brother, he'd moved out, but he bought it and he picked me up one Saturday morning and took me around to his house. And I sat and watched him play Resident Evil, and he gave me a shot, and I was hooked. But I can't remember how old I was. Like, I should never have been playing that game at that age. Let's put it that way. But then eventually when I did get a PlayStation, I got the game and I was able to run through it and like no issues whatsoever.
Things don't really scare me. I mean, it's in a way it's kind of upsetting for me because it's like, and it might come across as a little bit braggy, but I don't mean it to. But like, I don't get scared by games. I don't get scared by films, and part of me wants to be scared because I want to go to the cinema and have that. Do you know what I mean? And I want to be able to play games and have that feeling. But it just doesn't come. I get most of my enjoyment out of scaring other people, as we
as evidenced.
Yeah, as poor Avery probably still has nightmares to this day.
See, I think that's what it is for me though, is like my nightmares have become even more vivid like as I've gotten older. Like I have waking nightmares. So like I used to be able to laugh away things like things that were scary. I used to be able to laugh it all away and just like haha, and people would tell me to shut up in the movies. But like now it's like I don't want it because my mind goes nuts when I'm asleep, and like I will wake up crying and sometimes like ready to like run out of bed, just be like, heck no, whatever the heck just happened. So like I just can't even, I don't want the nightmares. And like I also don't want like my kids to accidentally come downstairs and see something, because like I did that as a kid. I came downstairs and saw like this really creepy, totally disgusting movie that my brother and my dad were watching. Dad, Shane, you're the worst. And like to this day it's still in my head and it's just gross. So like I don't want my kids to go through that. And I don't know, maybe it's just as I get older it's like I don't need that kind of stuff in my life anymore. Maybe it was a little bit of a teenage thing that was like, I'm so gritty and cool and blah, blood and guts. But now I'm just not. Though apparently I still don't mind killing people. So
one of the things I'm finding is that like when I was younger, my dad used to make me watch films that were like above my comprehension. Like nothing too crazy, but just like he would make me watch Forrest Gump or something like that. And when you're like 10 years old, like that film means absolutely nothing to you, and it's probably the most boring thing you could ever watch.
I've never seen it.
I mean, he made me watch The Matrix when I was a kid. I enjoyed the first Matrix. I don't remember anything about the second and third Matrix, and obviously the new Matrix has just come out of the cinema, and I kind of want to watch it, but I've had to go back and watch the other three. We just watched number 2 today, so we're going to watch number 3 and then watch the next one. So I'm kind of enjoying going back over some of the things that like I didn't appreciate as a kid. And sometimes I find that with games as well. Sometimes just going back and playing some of the games that you didn't really appreciate as a kid, or maybe you weren't any good at them as a kid. So yeah, just you haven't always got to stick to what's coming out nowadays. I mean, just think about how many games have come out since games started coming out, and there's an absolute crack of a back catalogue of games. So this is not kind of what annoys me when people say that new games don't come out on Stadia and don't come out on GeForce Now and Luna and all that. It's like, well, yeah, because there's a lot of games on Stadia that I would have never have played had it not come out on Stadia, like older games as well.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely. Stadia, as you say, people say, "Oh, Stadia gets older games," but Stadia needs older games. It needs to build the library. The library needs built. You cannot just expect it to be newer games all the time, because it's never going to, the library's never going to build anywhere. You need to add some of the older titles as well. So, when Stadia in 2-3 years' time is going to have this big library of games that people can go back and, basically what I'm doing now, playing The Witcher 2. I mean, The Witcher 2 came out, what was it, 10, 11 years ago on PC originally. But that's me going back on, thanks to GFN, that's me going back and playing it on Steam now. So,
I think the key.
That.
Oh, sorry.
No, on you go, Scarlet. On you go.
I think the key is though getting games that hit the nostalgia factor. Like you don't want just any random game, otherwise you're going to start getting like Barbie games and stuff. But like you want those nostalgia games. That's why Game Pass works, is because there's loads of games that people are like, this is maybe my first Xbox console, so now I can go back and play it. Or maybe your people are like, I haven't been able to play that since my original Xbox, hit the fan. Now I could go back and play it. And so you have to find that balance of nostalgia and new people wanting to have played those games. You can't just fill it with whatever the heck you want.
You say that though, but I mean, like, if the developers of the Barbie game really wanted their game on Stadia, then who are we to say no just because it's old? Do you know what I mean?
Then that's them paying a bigger check for it to be there. That's them wanting it. Like, Stadia is not going to just start filling it with.
What I would like them to do, in this respect, with older games and ports and stuff like that, I would like Stadia to have to take a closer look at the ports before they come on to Stadia, because some of them, given how old the games are, should be running a lot better. And I know that's down to the developers and everything like that, but there could be a better QA testing system in there on the Stadia side saying, well, hold on, I mean, Stadia, you guys can do a lot better than this, because some of the games that are ported, they don't run very well.
Well, about the folks that did the Cyberpunk port, they should just be rolling in projects at the moment for Stadia.
That's why I would love if The Witcher 3 was coming to Stadia, because I would imagine that CD Projekt Red would probably put it out to Q-Lock again to port it, and for a fact that those guys are going to do a good job.
Yeah. For some reason, I couldn't remember Q-Lock. I kept thinking QLED or something like that, which is something completely different. So I know it began with a Q.
And there is an interview. Stadia source an interview with Q-Lock on the site if anyone wants to go search for it.
There is, yeah.
Can we take a second to talk about something else game related real quick? Because we're coming up on the end. So I love adaptations of things, as evidenced from one of my separate channels where we talk about book to film and or TV adaptations. Vet, thanks for joining and welcome to Gold. Yay!
Thank you, Vet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to everybody else who's been a continual supporter as well. It means a lot to us that you've stuck with us despite, the fact that the roundtable was gone. Kudos as well to Speaking to Stadia for hopping in and keeping everything going. We love you guys. Really appreciate you being on there. Oh, and thanks, Vet, for the happy birthday. Appreciate it. So to kind of turn real quick on something else game related, we've been getting a lot more gaming in the film and TV realm. So we've got Uncharted coming up, I believe, in February, which Uncharted is a phenomenal series of games. For those of you who have had PlayStations, you will know this. Beautiful stories. Wonderful characters. I've enjoyed them a lot. So I'm really excited to see Tom Holland's representation of Nathan Drake. We've had Arcane, which I've spoken my issues with it. Overall, though, is actually a fairly good show. Even for people who have never played League of Legends or know nothing about it, that's me. And I feel like we're kind of, if Uncharted goes well, which I hope it will, but starting to feel like it may not. I feel like we're starting to get people who recognize that there is a actual way of adapting games into another medium, like TV and movies. We've had people try. So we had like a World of Warcraft movie. We've had various other movies based on like Tomb Raider as well. The issue has always been when they make too direct of an adaptation, where they take a story that's already been told and just try to make it in a new medium.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what Uncharted is starting to feel like they may be taking something that's too explored already from the video games and trying to just show it as a movie, which doesn't work. But Arcane, which I may be wrong because I know nothing about League of Legends, but I feel like it was telling what was an original story in the same world of League of Legends. I understand that there's characters from the TV show that are characters in the game. But it feels like it was trying to tell an original story just set in the same world. And I think that actually worked really well for a TV show, especially. Have you guys been keeping up with any of these adaptations? Like, is there anything that you guys have to say about that? I'm excited because I love when things get adapted. Because it's fun to see it in different mediums. What are your guys' thoughts?
So, as I mentioned briefly earlier, I really want to see that Resident Evil movie, which was a live-action one. As far as I'm aware, it is very close to the original source material of 1 and 2, maybe aspects of 3 as well. To me, I mean...
Oh, haven't we also had like a Witcher TV show? I think
Yeah,
that
I've
exists.
actually
Yeah.
just finished The Witcher season 2, but of course, I think The Witcher TV show is more basing it off the books.
Okay.
There's a series of 5 books, I believe it is. I think there's bits from like people pick up from the games in there, but I think their source material is more along the lines of the books, which I think in turn is upsetting some people, because I think a lot of people have played the games and they expect the show to follow the games, but they're not. The books are following the books. The books are a little bit. It's a bit of a little bit. Sometimes in some parts, there's a little bit of a difference there.
See, I think it all depends on what kind of person you are. I mean, like, to me, there's certain storylines in games which I think would portray well in film. I mean, like the Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 saga would portray very well to film. And I haven't seen this one yet, and I think if it does suffer, it'll probably be down to the cast and the way it was made, not necessarily the storyline. Like, for example, if I had to pick a game which I think needs to be a film, although I don't know how you would do it, but just like the Final Fantasy X storyline would be amazing as a film if they could pull that off.
There was
but
a
then,
Final Fantasy Advent Children movie like forever ago.
yeah, but I think that
really
carried
fun.
on from the game, didn't it?
It might have, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
and then like Kingsglaive was a movie that was the transition into a game. Not Final Fantasy though, I don't think. Was it? Is that Final Fantasy?
it doesn't ring a bell, but I could be wrong.
Kingsglaive is a really good movie, by the way.
I should keep an eye out for it. But like, take Sonic the Hedgehog as well. I mean, we all know Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie 2 is coming out soon. And I think if you look at Sonic 1, the movie, it didn't really borrow much. It had nods to the games, and but it was its own storyline, the way that Sonic was born and raised, and how he came to the you know what I mean, Earth, and
Human world.
the whole story behind Robotnik and stuff like that. But then if you've watched the trailer for this new one, I think it does lend more from the games. Like, you've got like the emeralds, and you've got Knuckles and Tails, and
Idris Elba.
yes,
So good.
Yes.
I look like I need your power. But,
so good.
but yeah, so I guess it's subjective on what you want from a film, and obviously whether you want it to be the story retold in a different medium, or whether you want it to be a continuation, or whether you want it to be a completely new story but set in that kind of universe. And I personally am the kind of person who wants it to match the source, or at least you know what I mean, start with there and then carry on if you so wish. But I guess if you look at I did really want to mention this, although we probably won't go too far into it because of spoilers, but like, if you look at Spider-Man, like the Tom Holland Spider-Man, they didn't really waste any time on how he got his spider powers, and he got bitten by a radioactive spider. Everybody knows how Spider-Man got his powers. Just throw him into the Avengers and everybody goes, there's Spider-Man. You don't need to you don't need to see that time and time over and over again. So I guess you can't put one sticker on it. I guess what upsets someone might be the other person's fantasy. So,
well, and I think the thing to remember when it comes to adaptations is that not everything that can be adapted should be adapted, and not everything that does get adapted can be a direct thing, because the way one story is told, so like when it comes especially to books to movies, if the book is not a very theatrically written book, it's really hard to turn that into something made for theater, for the movies. So there has to be changes. It just has to be done that way. And sometimes you can do a direct adaptation because the author wrote it in a way that can be seen exactly as it's written. So it's always just a balance between can this one be done this way, or does it need to be done another way? Can we even tell this story, or do we need to just be in the same world? Over in the chat, we actually have a couple more things pointed out. So we got Halo. That's going to be coming on Paramount.
That looks good, doesn't it?
We've had Detective Pikachu, which I thought was fantastic.
I love that movie.
So, and Link also pointing out, we should have just had Link come on for a hot minute. Link coming in saying that Kingsglaive is an introduction. It's to Final Fantasy 14. Also gave us a little bit more information about Arcane. So thank you for that. So I feel like gaming is now becoming a more popular thing to adapt. And people are actually starting to figure out how to do it the right way. Is that there is no one sticker for this. Like Detective Pikachu is a completely original story in the Pokemon world. Kingsglaive is a prequel to the game to help people understand why something happened. There's Michael in the chat. I'll respond in chat. Yeah. So I love adaptations. I'm excited to see where more of this is coming from and to see what people start doing.
One interesting one will be, of course, the strong rumors that Amazon are working on a Mass Effect series. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Whether they're going to take it just the storyline that we know from Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, or they're going to throw some new stories in there.
Or maybe somebody who's affected during that timeline. But then it'll be curious to see, like, what do they choose to be canon?
Well, it's the closest rumor. Obviously, there's rumors that Amazon are doing it. It looks as though it's going to happen, but the closest thing I think people have maybe seen to what they could be doing was, I don't know if you guys remember Henry Cavill when he was filming, I think, series 1 of The Witcher, was sat in his chair one day getting his hair and everything done, and he had a script in front of him, which he had blurred out, and I think he put something like, is this just a random bunch of papers, or is this a secret project? You have to wait to find out. But people actually cleaned up the script, and it turned out it was a Mass Effect script that I think it mentioned Cerberus and Talizora or something like that in it.
Yeah.
So, that could be, is Henry Cavill going to be Commander Shepard? We just don't know.
That'd be so good.
That would be good. I agree. I think Henry Cavill as Commander Shepard would be.
He's pretty much good at everything he does, isn't he, really?
Well, I love how he's also like, yeah, and I just seclude myself and I play video games all day. And I'm like, dude, I love you.
It was one of these things, wasn't it? When he was cast as Geralt in the Witcher series, people were like, oh no, not Henry, he can't do Geralt. And then it premiered, and people were like, "Oh my god, this guy's amazing! This is literally so good. This guy is absolutely superb."
He's done lots of different roles. He hasn't just been Superman, but he's also been in another one of my favorite movies. It's called The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and he's an American spy, and he's also in Mission Impossible. So he's done a lot of different things. And granted, it's usually a more serious character. But that fits with what I know Geralt to be. I don't know a whole lot about the Witcher series in any way, but I know Geralt is a very just kind of like kind of person. So I was totally there for it. It was like I would almost watch The Witcher just for Henry Cavill, but I'm not going to. But yeah,
he is awesome. He is awesome in it, and I love as you said, Scarlet. He's a geek. Like he just. The man builds his own gaming PCs. He plays Warhammer and paints his own Warhammer models, and he's a gamer. I remember one story. He said he got the phone call to be told that he was getting the role of Superman, but he intentionally didn't answer the phone because he was sitting playing World of Warcraft at the time. So he waited until he was done before phoning the director back, who was there to tell him, "Hey, you've got the role of Superman." But
and just to geek out on Henry Cavill just a little bit more, he's also like majorly sweet. Like there's a kid who was getting made fun of at school for saying, "I know Superman." So Henry Cavill drove that kid to school, and yes, this kid knows Superman. Just props to the guy for just being all around, from what we see, a pretty awesome dude.
Henry, if you're watching this.
Nephew. There you go.
Henry, come on the show. We know you.
Reach out to us.
You probably play Stadia or GeForce Now. I'm
gonna scrounge some of his videos now to see if there's a Stadia controller in the background.
Come on the show. We'll get you on.
Avery would have already sent the email by now. To be fair.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Who did Avery try and get on once? Who was it? We were chatting. I can't remember if it was just after a show we did or before a show. And we were like, oh, we should get this person on. And Avery literally sent the email there and then. I can't remember who it
I
was.
don't remember.
Yeah, he did put some feelers out for some crazy people.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember who it was now. I have to ask him. Who it was. I need to know.
Well, anything else that you guys want to talk about, or should we wrap it up with our usual stuff?
So since we're going into 22, should we say what do we want from Stadia and or GeForce Now? Even if you want, what we would like to see from these guys in 2022?
Sonic Mania. That's it.
That's literally just everything.
Sonic.
Everything's Sonic.
This is why.
You know this paint needs more Sonic.
This is why it's just like the whole of Twitter is at each other's throats sometimes, and it's just like, unless it's Sonic Mania for Stadia or whatever, then everything's kind of disappointing to me.
Just start wearing shades of Sonic blue everywhere you go.
Yeah,
some Sonic tinted glasses.
I guess I just want what everybody wants when it comes to Stadia is just for them to act like they care a little bit more and put more thought into what they put out there and
stand up for themselves.
Yeah, stand up for themselves and get those games.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Tried and tested. Yeah,
I did say to someone, like, I think it was after the Game Awards. I can't remember, when everybody was doing their usual on Twitter, as you say, Dan. And I said, like, could you imagine Phil Spencer or what's the chap at Sony? Jim Ryan at Sony? If PlayStation and Xbox were getting this hard time by the gaming media and misinformation, would they sit there and just be quiet, or would they be out there fighting, for their platforms and what they believe in? And I know people say to me all the time, I hear it so much, oh yeah, but Stadia are keeping it close to their chest, and they've said if they've got no news, they're not going to say anything. And it's like, yeah, but that's not how they're going to do it. It's not how the game, especially the game world. The game world does not work like that.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to, one of the biggest feathers Stadia could put in their bow right now would be to get the mainstream gaming media back on their side. And to do that, speak to them more, be more open with them, give them something.
And I think with the departure of Grace, and don't get me wrong, Grace was absolutely lovely. Sad to see her go. But now you've got an opening potentially for someone to bring something new to the table, and I think Leo do it.
I'll do it. But just hire me. I'll get started in a week.
I'll go off on a small tangent here, but does everyone know Major Nelson from Xbox? I'm sure you've.
Yes.
Yes. Basically, he's kind of like a Grace type person from Xbox, but he has his own podcast. He has his own website. And it's like I went on his website earlier just to see if it still existed, because I used to listen to their podcast every week back in like 10 years ago. And I think his latest podcast, which is like episode 700 or something like that, is crazy.
Kudos.
And Phil Spencer just showed up like in the middle of the podcast to just have a chat about Xbox, and it was nothing. Like he got an hour on his Sunday afternoon and he just wanted to talk about games and stuff. And I think we could get more of that from Stadia, just more them sitting down talking about it and being engaged, and maybe they need to do a podcast of their own or something, or even if they don't necessarily talk Stadia, they can just talk about gaming in general like we do. Because I remember Major Nelson not necessarily being, at least in the early stages, it wasn't necessarily Xbox. It was just he would sit and talk about gaming and nerd culture and stuff like that, and then throw in a bit of Xbox trivia and stuff like that as he went along. And it could start like that for Stadia too.
It's true though, because thinking back in the old Xbox days, the Xbox always had something, because they had those two guys as well. Was it Mr. Pointyhead and Super Kilo? They did an Xbox show. Do you remember those two?
There was AC Bongos, who's from your neck of the woods.
Yeah, AC's still there.
I've met him.
I've only always talked to him on social media, but he's a really nice guy.
Dan Maher, which was
Dan Maher. He was Mr. Pointyhead. Yeah,
I met him too, but I didn't meet the other one. Which
I can't remember what his name was. But they had an Xbox show, didn't they? That was tied to Xbox, And then
which I
eventually,
appeared on once actually.
oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah, because
then
Xbox
eventually
Dan's over there
eventually that
Xbox
stopped.
Resource was on
But
it
now they've
because we had
got,
all of the Avatar awards and stuff, and it got featured on the episode.
But now of course, they've still got Xbox on,
Mm-hmm.
which is still going and doing Xbox stuff. And yeah, it'd be great to see something like that for.
I think the other guy that you can't
Stadia.
remember the name of actually does. He still does an Xbox related show.
Outside, he does Outside Extra, outside Xbox, or Outside Extra, something like that.
Yeah, it's Xbox.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be really good.
They just need more of a
like that.
and people like is it Chakra? I can never.
Yeah, Shaka.
Yeah, she would be perfect for something like that. I mean, I've seen the way she tweets. I've seen her rollerblading, roller skating, or whatever, and like I'm sure she would be perfect to just sit down and fan girl over Stadia and stuff like that, and games, and so that's what I want from Stadia. I mean, GeForce Now, just carry on what you're doing, guys. You seem to be doing a good job, as it is anyway.
I mean, in terms of Stadia, as you said, I'd love to see better communication. I'd love to see them come out there fighting their own corner. It's all great that we do it for them and everybody else does it for them, but it's not really our job to do. It's their own job to do. I'd love to see them expand it more territories, get some, expand that. I'd love to see them upgrade Stadia, upgrade that server blades, because it sits at the moment somewhere between like last gen and this gen. And you can slowly see as games are coming on that it's falling behind a little bit, but given the resources Google have got, and given what Stadia could be doing, they could upgrade that hardware. xCloud have done it. They put the Series X hardware in a share. GeForce Now have gone and done it with the new RTX 3080 tier. Surely now it's got to be Stadia's turn to step up and do that on their end.
Absolutely.
And games, I'd love to see. Obviously, we all want more games. It's much
games, more games.
Obviously,
more games. Give us more games.
More games and more Sonic Mania.
But GeForce Now, as you say, yeah, they're ticking along. They're doing what they do. They've got I know people get on to me about how I speak about GeForce Now, but they've got a superb team here.
Well, they had their goal of what they wanted to do. They told everybody what their goal is, and they're doing it. So carry on.
I think the thing with GeForce Now is that, like, because you've got the whole back catalogue of Steam games that could possibly be brought to GeForce Now, I don't think there's ever that worry that a game might not come. It's more of a case of when rather than if. Yeah. Whereas Stadia, there's probably thousands upon thousands of games that you can just dismiss straight away as probably not coming to the platform. So
the thing with Stadia as well that we've completely bypassed is all the new incentives that they're bringing in for developers. I know some of them have kicked in already. Some kick in from the start of 2022. Bigger revenue shares, the revenue for pro games, but they're also making it easier to port games to Stadia. They basically want to eliminate the porting process completely, near enough. Which I would quite imagine that Stadia have probably spoken to some developers and they've said, well, yeah, we could port it over to Stadia, but it's maybe a bit too much work for them at the moment. I know recently I had a conversation with the guys at Outward, because Outward's got a new edition coming out, and they were just upfront and honest with me. They said, listen, it's not that we didn't want to do the new edition on Stadia. We just kind of really... We can't justify the man hours or the work hours it would take for them to do it. Whereas if the process was easier, they would turn and say, well, hey, it's pretty easy done. It's quick to do. We can get it done. That wouldn't be an issue. And just and back to GeForce Now, I would love to see them more publishers on board, more developers on board. I know they've got the EA partnership they announced sort of towards the tail end of this year, but I would love to see more EA games come in as well, because there's so much more. Mass Effect Legendary Edition could come on GeForce Now. I'll buy it day one, no problems.
That'd be pretty awesome.
So yeah. I think it's gonna be a good 2022. Whether you're highly invested in Stadia, where you're highly invested in GeForce Now, Luna, xCloud, whether you play them all I think it's going to be a good 2022 for cloud gaming.
Yep, fingers crossed, and fingers crossed the rest of the year looks a bit better in terms of coronavirus and all that. I've probably just jinxed it, but
Yep.
Well, 2 is my favorite number, and there's a lot of 2s in next year, so I'm going to count that as a good sign. What's our goals then, just to kind of let people know before we head out? What are the what can we tell them about where we're going with GSN, Gaming Source Network, Stadia Source, GFN Source, everything that we do? What can we tell them about? I know that for us, we're not going anywhere. We're hoping to just continue to make it better. You'll probably see graphic updates occasionally. Like some of you may have noticed, there are new thumbnails for our live streams. Dan will keep doing the website because Dan, and Lee will keep running the news because these two are just amazing at what they do.
you're amazing too.
Oh, thanks.
Exactly.
But I know that we want to expand. We have more people who need to come back onto the team. We've lost a few members over the months just because life has gotten more hectic for some people. We've had social media managers leave. We've had live streamers leave. But we're not shutting down by any means, obviously. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this live stream was very, very impromptu. I think Scarlet approached us with it about 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And said, should we just go live? And as in leaders asking at the bottom, will the roundtable return in 2022? We have no solid answer at the moment because literally we only just spoke about it 2 days ago. But I would like to say yes.
I'd like to make this a
return.
monthly thing for the roundtable.
Yeah. I want it to return. So whilst it's not a solid yes at the moment, I will do everything in my power to bring it back. And like Scarlet said, we'll just continue to do what we do in our respective areas. We'll try and bring on some new folk if we can, and just try and make everything the best that it can possibly be.
And, we'd love for you guys to send us tweets on, Twitter, send us messages. Let us know the kind of content that you would like to see from us. We know that YouTube has changed a lot. There's been the introduction of shorts, which has become incredibly popular, which doesn't unfortunately fit very well into the things that we do. We're trying to do the news bite, which I thought was going very well, but that just kind of didn't work out, unfortunately. Let us know. So obviously you guys are wanting more video game live streams. We love that. We love getting to hang out with you guys, like seriously, and more roundtables. So we will try to at least make this a once a month thing. Just because you guys are getting a lot of your Stadia news and your GFN news from our websites, as well as our Speaking of Stadia team. Dan apparently needs to do some YouTube shorts. So Dan, get on that.
I second that. I back that.
I don't know why, but okay.
So let us know what kind of content you'd like us to see. Do you guys want us to talk about other gaming related things like adaptations? Let us know, please, because you guys are the people that we work for, essentially. So let us know what you need from us.
More blue bobs.
Yes, apparently Andrew needs to come back.
Which I think I think he's having some
he's been having some
issues,
technical issues with his computer.
issues at the moment. So yeah, when he gets that sorted, I'm fairly sure.
Well, my
Andrew
computer was down for like a month, so I mean there was that too. Sometimes stuff just happens.
Is that in the more coverage of Project Hailstorm? In lead, I think Project Hailstorm thawed out, mate. I think that's we'll move on from that one. I think Project Hailstorm turned just to be like a light sprinkle, a light dusting than anything. So we'll move
melted
on
before it hit the ground.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Yeah. Well, it's been incredibly fun hanging out with you all again, and I haven't actually realized how much I've missed it until just now. So yeah, like I said, definitely we'll work towards getting something more regular going. And it was great to see such a great turnout in the chat as well. I mean, there's people that, we used to see every week in the roundtable and stuff. Like, it's good to know that you haven't forgotten about us. Yeah, it's warmed my heart. So thank you very much for that.
Hi again, guys.
Absolutely, yeah. I do want to say kind of a little bit of housekeeping as well, but I do want to just give a massive shout out to Rock, because obviously we used to promote his services at the end of our roundtable podcast as well. Since we haven't been doing them, we've not really given him a big shout out. So you might have noticed on the website, his name appears at the top of the website as well now. It's just a little shout out for his excellent services. I cannot recommend them highly enough. Like the way that, Stadia Source runs on the website is because of him. It's him and his services. So if you've got any website he needs, any ideas for an app or something like that, check out rock.co.uk. I don't know whether he's watching in the background or whatever, but thank you again, Rock, for all you've done for us.
Yeah. Well, this has been the Gaming Source Network Roundtable. Gaming Source Network, your number one source for all your gaming news. Totally botched that, but that's okay. It just kind of changes all the time.
You're a bit rusty, so I'll give you that one.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Have a good one.
Bye-bye, everybody. And I need to get the outro lined up because
that's it. It's all gone downhill from here.
It's
all downhill from here.
Yay, live stuff.
Bye, everyone.